That means that he made you intentionally. All right, you were not a bunch of mixed up leftover whoopses, all right, that he stirred up into a pot like I do sometimes at supper and see what's going to come out of that. Here's dinner. No, he didn't do that. He's very intentional. He made you exactly the way he wanted you to be. He gave you the personality he wanted you to have. The Lord has been very intentional, and in his intentionality, he chose you. He chose you specifically. Now, I know you're sitting there the same way I sit there on a Sunday morning, like, yes, God chose you. That's right, he sure did. I don't know about me, but he did choose you. Yes, I hear you, Pastor. That's right. And then I get home, and God looks at me I'm in the bathroom in the mirror, and he goes, hey, what about you? Remember you? I'm like, yeah, but God, he was talking to, all right, me too. You're going to take that in, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit more here shortly. But God is so vast that we could spend all day long talking about who God is and what that means about us. We could actually spend our entire lives, hint, that is what we should be doing, trying to find out who God is and his characteristics and his personality, because that is going to in turn tell us about ourselves also. So we could spend lifetime doing that, but for today, I'm going to tell you a story instead. We'll get to the other part. Just bear with me, all right? I'm a butterfly, all right, and a hummingbird, all right? This is what I do. So just follow along. It'll be all right. God will make it come together. So as you notice, over here we have a bicycle, and over here we have another bicycle. And I'm going to tell you a story. This is a true story about a bicycle. So here we were a few years ago. My husband decided that he wanted to ride bikes together. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Oh, no. You see, at first I was like, okay, that's all right. That's a cool idea, I think, maybe. I used to ride bikes when I was a kid. I loved it. I spent hours on my bike, riding around the neighborhood, enjoying my own imagination, which I was always amazing in. And so I was like, yeah, okay, we can do that. I mean, there's a little bit of a hiccup because that was like several moves ago, a few decades ago, and 7 children ago. So it's been a long time since I put my curvier self on a small bicycle seat. But I was like, all right, okay, all right. We can do this. I mean, it's like riding a bike, right? You don't forget the whole saying, it's like riding a bike. So this is a real bike, and I got to put my bum up on there. So I'm like, okay, we can do this. And he goes, yeah, so here's the price tag. This bike right here, this bike. Do you see that bike? That is not from the dollar store, all right? Let me tell you, that is not from the dollar store. So he tells me the price, and I cough, gag, choke there. And I realize at this point that this is actually going to cost me something. I mean, this sounded like a kind of a fun idea, ride bikes together, right? And I'm a romantic at heart, and I was like, oh, that could be so fun. That's a very hefty price tag to pay for some fun, all right? I'm just saying. And so I immediately am like, skepticism has risen, right? I don't know about this. And then I remember, all right, on top of it, I don't live on flat land anymore, okay? I grew up in eastern North Carolina, where all things are flat, okay? The only thing not flat is the ditch that I would ride my bike through, very controlled. Oh, yes, I made my own hills. I don't live in my own hills anymore. I live in God-built hills, all right? And in my opinion, God does not make hills that are safe to ride a bicycle down, all right? Just my personal opinion. Don't tell the other bikers around here. There's a lot of them. But so I was extremely concerned about this. And so my husband assures me, as he always does, with his famous phrase, it'll be fine. That's his famous phrase. So here we go. We get the bikes, and in with the bikes, they finally arrive. And in with mine, it felt like an attachment to mine came fear. All right? Like it was just like attached automatically, and I thought, oh, good Lord, that thing, first of all, is huge, all right? That thing is huge. Just be real. It is a huge bicycle. And so I'm like, okay, well, this is fine. Maybe I can convince him that we're going to ride on flat land. There's a little bit of flat around here. We could do this. And so I told him, I said, I will ride with you, but I need you to know something up front. I'm scared to death, all right? And I need you to be patient with me. And so he agrees, and off we go, and we start riding around all the beautiful flat land here in the valley. And if you know my husband, going past it one time is enough, all right? He's not interested in doing the same roads 3 and 4 times. I was content. I'm just riding along. This is great, right? And he goes, so let's do Northwest Hill. I'm like, I beg your pardon. Have you lost your mind? And he goes, yeah, we can do this. It'll be great. It'll be great. All right. So I get up my courage. I follow my husband. I declare I follow this man to the moon and back. And sometimes, anyway. So I follow him. We go up Northwest Hill. We don't even go all the way, right? We just go up Northwest Hill. Then we turn onto Montgomery. And I'm okay. Uphill's fine, right? But what goes up must come down, that's right. So we go up, we go down Montgomery, and then we turn and we do Valley View, and it's great and wonderful. And then here it comes, the dreaded downhill. Now it's paved. This one's paved, by the way, for those of you that don't drive on this road typically. This one's paved, which was a big deal, all right? Paved versus rocky dirt mountain road is a little bit different, all right? Especially on 2 wheels over here. So I graciously let him go first. So he's, whizzing down the hill like he's done it his whole life. And I kid you not, I'm behind him, not closely, because that's another fear, closely. And so here I am, and I'm playing what we call squeeze release, all right? It's on the brake, all right? And so my husband had assured me when he bought the bicycle, because this was one of the conditions, that the bicycle would be able to stop going downhill. All right. This is a hydraulic brake, if anybody's interested in any of that information. Hydraulic brakes. I have done it, stop going downhill. Careful with that, it's not always safe. But this time I did not. I am playing squeeze release, and I'm literally like this, like squeeze, okay, let go, or you're gonna die, squeeze, because if you hit the brake too hard, you are going to, it's not good. So in what felt like hours, but was mere seconds, I have made it down the hill. We are now whizzing around that curve that comes right after it. Wind like I've never felt in my life. All right, I dare not look at the speedometer, all right? That thing is in front of me, and I'm like, no, Jesus. I'm praying the whole way, Lord, please don't let me die. Please let me be brave. I need to be brave. I can do this. Okay, we're going to do this. Okay, I make it down around the curve, and as I go around that curve, right, I look ahead of me, and there he is, smiling at me, and he says, I knew you could do it. I knew you could. Look at you. You did a great job. And I was hooked. That was it. That's what it took right there. I was hooked. Since then, my husband and I have ridden all over Pownell. If you live in Pownell, we've probably been near your house. I know some of you are like, not my house. Yes, ma'am. Yes, your house. I'm telling you, all right? You think I don't know where you live, but I do, all right? We've been up and over county, all right? Anybody been up and over county? Not in a vehicle, you haven't, not recently. That's right. You go up, 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 up. You have to, this bicycle, you have to get your rear end off the bicycle. Okay, then you walk the bicycle. Yeah, we've done all kinds of things. We have been all over Pownell. We've been into Bennington. We've been over most of Williamstown. And let me tell you, we have seen some of the most beautiful sights. We've seen things I could never have seen in the safety of my car. We've been on tops of mountains and been in awe at the beauty that God has made above and below. We have been in nooks and crannies and seen that God up in these mountains has tucked all kinds of amazing things and amazing people. We've met so many people that we never would have met had I let my fear, my past, all right, or my belief about my own self define what was going to happen. All those things had to sit down because this I wanted a relationship. I wanted a deeper relationship with my husband. And this is what he came up with, just a heads up. His idea, not mine. There's other things he could have come up with, but nonetheless, this was his idea. And as much as I wrestled back and forth, right, that relationship is what trumped my decision every time. I want a deeper relationship with my husband, so I'm going to put my very much not skinny anymore rear end on a bicycle with hydraulic, thank you, Jesus, brakes, all right? And I'm not kidding you. I follow that man all over the place around here. Every once in a while, if you see us, I'm in the front. There's a reason for that. My bike goes faster than his. It's fine. I'll tell you all about that later if you want to know. But every once in a while, you'll see me in the front. Because now I have finally gotten to the point to where the downhill is thrilling. That's right. The downhill is thrilling. Now, does that mean that the danger is gone? No, the danger is very much there. But my mindset has shifted. Hold on to that, all right? Hold on. So, as we're listening to this, right, think about your own life. What about your past? What about the things you believe about yourself? What about the things other people have said about you? What about your fear and your worry and the anxiousness that you feel? I'm willing to bet money, I don't typically bet money, but I'm willing to bet money that you're in the same place as me. That those things, more often than not, stop us, not just from doing something fun with another human being, but from following what Jesus tells us he wants us to do. We let all kinds of voices tell us all kinds of things. The question is, do we let the voice of the one that created us be the one that leads the way? It has to be that way. Every bit of rebellion up in us says, I'm going to make my own way. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because you make your own way, and it turns into this giant crumble of junk in the floor. And the reason I know that is because I've done that. We all know it. And yet we still get up day after day and try the same thing over and over again. Yesterday, it did not work for me to try to be the God of my universe, but today it will work. I will be the God of my universe. No, you won't. No, you won't. We do it every day, over and over. And a part of that is because of one of two things. We either don't know who we are in Jesus. We have no clue what he says about us. And after this morning, you should, but nonetheless, we're dealing with today. Or maybe you do know what God says about you. But we all have this thing called identity amnesia. You see, I forget that God calls me my child. I do. I forget that I'm a child of the King of the universe. I forget that the Ancient of Days is the one that created me and handles every single tiny detail of my life and big detail of not just mine, but every single person sitting in this room. I mean, just look around. How on earth, no human orchestrated for all of you, all of us to be in this room at the exact same time with the gifts and talents to make all of this happen. We didn't do that. Only God could do that. Only God is big enough, knowing the tiny details of your life that led you to this exact moment. Only God could do that. But we forget. I forget I'm loved. I forget I'm forgiven. And I know pastors' wives are not supposed to forget these things, but we do. I forget. There are days I look in the mirror and I forget completely that I've been chosen, I've been loved, I've been created by a divine design, that I'm forgiven, I'm redeemed, and I am set free. I forget those things. Well, what does that look like? All right, well, I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like a wife that nags her husband to death. It looks like a mom that can't do anything but scream and shout at her children and want to wring their necks. All right. It looks like somebody sitting up in the Walmart parking lot waiting for her to go order, going, "Dear Lord, how long does it take for you to simply put a few groceries in the back of the van?" I could do it for you, but the website says for me to sit in my car, all right? Right? That's what it looks like. Because I forget I'm forgiven, therefore I forget to forgive. I forget that I received grace, so I forget to give grace. You can't give something you didn't receive. So if you don't know Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior, if you don't know him as the intimate, loving Father, as the lover of your soul, if you don't know him as these things, if you've never experienced him as these things, you are incapable of giving out what you've never received. I can't give you $5 if I don't have $5. All right? I cannot forgive you if I haven't been forgiven. I cannot offer love, mercy, grace, patience, kindness, or compassion if I have never received that myself. But as a daughter of the King, as a child of God, I have received those things. Most of us stop there. I have received those things. Good for me, good for me. I got those things. I'm going to stuff them in my pockets. I'm good. I'm good. And God says, that's good, right? We're good. Now, come on. Step 2, because this is like a 5,000-step journey, and you stopped on step 1. All right? So you got those things. Now what do you do with them? That's who you are. That matters. I'm supposed to be answering the question, what does it matter? Becky told you who you are. Who am I? Well, that's right. But what does that matter? He did, but what does it matter? Okay. I'm gonna play the homeschool game, but what does that matter? Right? That's what my kids, but what does that matter? Well, let me tell you why that matters, honey. As a child of God, what does that matter? We have to. You see, we think that part's optional. I've received love, grace, mercy, kindness, compassion, goodness, and justice from the Father up above, the King of the universe. The God of all things has graciously, not because I earned it, not because I deserve it, he has graciously given all of those things, not for me to sit and hold them to myself. Okay, if you ever look in the very last part of the book of Matthew, we have what's the Great Commission, right? It's got all kinds of wonderful labels to it. The big thing is that Jesus said it, all right? That's the whole deal. Like, Jesus said it, and that's it. It doesn't matter if you like it or not, all right? Jesus said it. So here's what Jesus said. He said, go. That was command number 1 right out of that. Go. Go. He did not say sit and enjoy, all right? We got to get that clear. It's not sit and enjoy. It's go. You got grace, go. Share that. Give that to someone else. You got forgiveness, go. Go forgive that person that's absolutely unforgivable in your life, because heads up, first of all, we were the unforgivables, all right? There's no sin that's small. There's no sin that's big. They're all equal. Jesus had to die for every single one of them. So if he, the God of the universe that's absolutely perfect, can forgive me, I am required to forgive others. We think it's optional to do these things, but they're requirements. It's a requirement to go. It's a requirement to love your neighbor as yourself. These are requirements. Following Jesus is going to cost you just like that bike cost me. That bike cost me money, right? But it also cost me time. It cost me energy. It cost me all kinds of things. Following Jesus costs you your life. We often say salvation is free. Yes, because you can't do a dadgum thing to earn it. Nothing. Okay, we're never going to be good enough to earn it. We can't please him enough with good works. There's nothing we can do to earn that. He freely gives us salvation. Every bike except for this one, and technically this one also, that I have had have been free to me. Now, they've cost someone along the way. They've had to purchase the bicycle. But every bike I've ever had has been free to me. But they still cost me something in the process. Salvation is given free. Salvation from God is given to us freely. It's a gift. But with a gift, you have to make a decision. What am I going to do with said gift? Am I going to re-gift it? Just a heads up. Am I going to use it? All right, for this bike, this was a gift from my husband. Yes, we have a joint, the bank account's all the same, blah, 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 but it was his idea. It was a gift. Now, I had options. The same as we have options with the gospel. I can take that bike, and I can look at it, and I can say, oh, that's so pretty. That's so nice. No, thank you. I don't want that. I don't want that. And honestly, in real time, in real life, there are many people that see the gift that God gives us of salvation. And we look at it, flip it around. That's nice, but I don't want it. I mean, legitimately, they don't want it. Or you can have this gift that's given to you, and you can look at it just as I could with the bicycle, and you can shine it up, and you can, park it in the garage, kind of tuck that sucker away, and pretend like you're a bike rider. Yeah, I have a bike. Oh, I sure do. I have a bike. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. It's so fun. I haven't ridden it in a long time. But yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I go to church. Yeah. I mean, sometimes. Not every week, it's okay. No, I haven't read my Bible in a long time. I have prayed at the stoplight that the Lord would justify somebody next to me, but I have not. No. Yeah. Or we can have this gift and we can say, this is an amazing gift. I'm going to learn to ride this bike. I'm going to learn to use this bike. There's so much potential. And we actually pull it out of the garage, and we get outside, and we put the helmet on, and we decide that it doesn't matter how crazy I look in this helmet with like biker shorts and a shirt that's not quite long enough, and shoes that are definitely not biker shoes, or like for walking down the road. Like, I'm all hodgepodged up, but I don't care. That relationship with my husband is all I want to know about right now. And I will put my rear end on there. I will pay the price it takes. All I want is that relationship with Jesus. I don't care if I look dumb. I don't care if my belly button shows with my hands raised above my head. I'm going to praise the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords because I want that relationship with him. And if it costs me my pride and I have to stand up here and look like an absolute fool, will I look like a fool for him? Yes, ma'am, I will. Yes, ma'am. If my children don't agree with me, if my husband doesn't agree with me, if my parents, my friends, my coworkers, my neighbors, whoever it is, what if they think I'm nuts? What are they going to think when they see me sitting in the corner in my bedroom like a child in timeout, and I'm sitting there with my eyes closed and my lips moving, and they go, what are you doing? And I say, I'm praying. What? Is something wrong? Somebody dying? No. I just want to talk to the one that loves my soul. Oh, all right. You want me to leave you alone? Yeah, I do. Are we willing to look nuts? Are we willing to say, Lord, you own my children, not me? Are we willing to say, Lord, you own that bank account, not me? Are we willing to say, Lord, you own the pantry in my house. I'll feed whoever you want, whenever you want. Lord, you own the dust bunnies that are hopping around on the floor in my living room. And so if somebody come up in here and they see them jumping around, I'm just going to point you out, all right? God made dust. There it is. Are we willing to be made a fool so that he is glorified? That's what matters. Who am I? I have to know who I am. I'm a daughter of the King. To be a daughter means I'm loved. I'm taken care of. I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry. I love you, Tulsi. I'm about to bring you up, girlfriend. Tulsi here. She's not worried. She has no worry about if her mama's going to clothe her. She has no worry about whether there's going to be food on the table or what time she's going to go to bed or is there going to be another book to read or am I going to get enough food to eat? Are the stars going to fall out of the sky? Is the neighbor going to think I'm nuts? She's not worried about any of that. You know why? Because she's a daughter of Molly, and Molly takes care of her children. You are a daughter of the King, and the King takes care of his children. Every single day. Not a minute goes by that he's not breathing that breath right up in you over and over, over and over. We can't forget who we are, because who we are changes everything in life. Every single thing is altered by who am I? Who I am. All right, when I finally get a hold of that and I allow the Lord to plant that seed into my soul that I am a child of God. All right, and what that means, when that seed is finally planted and it starts to bloom, it's going to affect my relationships, every single one of them, right? It's going to affect my finances. It's going to affect my marriage. It's going to affect my relationship with my children. It's going to affect my schedule, all right, just a heads up. It's going to affect the calendar. And I don't mean like 6 months from now, all right? I mean like, if I'm going to be daughter of the King and I'm going to say, you can do with me whatever you want to, Lord, because you have the authority and power to do that, then just brace yourself because he likes to move, all right? The Lord is not still. He is not stagnant. He is constantly moving. And so in about 5 minutes, he's going to ask something of you, all right? Oh, I want you to go hug that person over there. Lord, I don't know that person. I know you don't, but I do. And they need a hug. I want you to go hug that person. I want you to buy gas for that person at the gas station. I want you to go speak something encouraging and life-giving to that person over there. So you see, God's busy at work. He's not busy sitting on the throne watching. He's busy at work. And as soon as we say to him, Lord, I understand finally that I am a daughter of the King, he says, great. You see, daughters of this kingdom, because there's a lot of kingdoms, daughters of this kingdom do not sit in the palace. They go out. They have jobs to do. They do those jobs. And while they're doing those jobs, they bring glory and honor and praise to the Most High King. And in the process of doing those jobs, they're then able to share through relationships the good news of the gospel That you don't have to wander around lost and aimless. You don't have to be full of anxiety. You can come to the Father and He will take care of you. All while we're doing. We're busy doing. We love to do something, all right? Give me something to do. I can't sit here and watch. I need something to do. We've all heard somebody say it. We've all said it ourselves at some point. We're doers, all right? But your doing is going to drive you crazy and everyone around you crazy if your doing is not, first of all, based out of your being. I know. It's a hard concept. I'm still wrestling through it my own self. The being is who you are. And it's not who you think you are. It's who God says you are. That is your being. When you wrap your heart around your being, you will now have the freedom to do. You see, we think of doing. I'm doing, I need to do, right? Nope. No, you don't. You need to be. John 15, Jesus says, I'm the vine and you are the branches. Get busy doing a bunch of stuff for me. No. I'm the vine, you are the branches. I want you to worry a whole lot. Maybe we'll stay connected that way. I'm the vine, you are the branches. Remain in me. That's it. That's it. He doesn't say, and then if you raise godly children, I will love you forever. Nope. He says, remain in me. If you're super successful and you get all the things done, nope, just remain in me. Just remain in me. Jesus is actually very simple. We make him so very complicated. Another time he says that he's the shepherd and he says to the sheep, follow me. That's it. That's it. Follow me. Not go out and be some kind of goat or a bear, all right, being something that nobody intended for you to be. You're sheep. Follow the shepherd. That's it. Lord, where are you going today? Oh, that's where I'm going to. Absolutely. The only way to do that is if we stay connected with the Lord. All right, so we have to stay in this constant communion with the Lord. In Matthew chapter 11, Jesus says, come to me, all who are weary and burdened. Anybody here not weary and not burdened? Yeah, I didn't think so, right? Yeah. We all got some kind of burden. Right? We're all weary of something. Maybe you're weary of me talking. I don't know. We all have some kind of weary and burden, and he says, come. He does not say, get it all together and then come. He says, come. Just come. You don't have to do anything else. When my kids have been outside and they're absolutely filthy from head to toe, all right, come. I will spray you off with the water hose. Come. Right? I do not tell my 5-year-old, get cleaned up and then come to me. No, he cannot clean himself, not well enough for that. Right? Jesus is not saying to us, pull it together, get it together, straighten it out, clean yourself up, because we can't. We can't. Why would he tell us to do something we can't do? He's not going to. He knows exactly who we are. He knows exactly what we're capable of. He's not going to do that. He says, come. Just come. I don't know how to come. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You just come. Okay? You do know how to do that. I don't know what that means. Well, okay, random example. Sit down and be quiet and just say, Lord, I'm here. That's it. You don't need fancy words. He already knows what you're thinking anyway. Stop trying to impress him, right? He doesn't need to be impressed. He's already got it. So here's the thing I want to leave you with, however. Let me pull to the sheet so I don't get lost on this sheet, because I have to actually read this one, all right? So as we're talking about what does it matter, who am I and what does it matter, this can be an extremely heavy topic because as we're slowly beginning to realize, this actually affects every single aspect of our lives. I mean, this affects everything. There's no part of our life untouched. And that's what it is to follow Jesus. There's no part of your life untouched, all right? Jesus is not an add-on. He's not something that we schedule on I think I'll go to church tomorrow. Oh, I think I'll read my Bible tomorrow. Oh, it's convenient to be godly right this minute. He's not an add-on, all right? And going to church is not God, just a heads up, all right? Going to church is being with the other children of God. You're being with the rest of the family, all right? There's we could talk for a whole long time about that. But nonetheless, this is where we are. All right, this is a really heavy topic. When you realize that this requires your whole life. When you understand who you are, it changes everything. Every single part of your life. It changes what comes out your mouth. It changes what goes in your ears. It changes what you start looking at and what you stop looking at. It changes your facial expressions. All right? It changes how you treat other people. It changes how you talk to yourself. It changes everything. Nothing's untouched. But here's what I want to give you. Hope. It can feel like an impossible peace, but there's hope. Paul David Tripp, amazing writer. If you haven't gotten anything by him, I strongly suggest it, but nonetheless, he's awesome. Paul David Tripp says, we are all on a constant quest of hope. We all want a reason to get up in the morning and motivation to continue. He made a list of 5 things we need to know about hope. Number 1, God hardwired us for hope. We do not live by instinct. We all find our identity, meaning, and purpose and inner sense of well-being in something. Where we place our hope will set the direction of our lives. Our lives are shaped by who or what we place our hope in. Hope always includes an expectation and an object. I'm hoping for something, and I'm hoping that someone or something will deliver it. Hope, to be hope, has to fix what's broken. We proclaim to ourselves a message of some kind of hope. All right, and I'll give you an example of that. When I'm 10 pounds lighter, I will be prettier. My pants will fit better. Whatever, right? When I get that promotion, if we could just have a little bit more coming in. We always are connecting, right? But here's the radical truth of the gospel of Jesus. Hope is not a situation. Hope is not a location. Hope is not a possession. And hope is not an experience. Hope is more than insight or truism. Hope is a person, and his name is Jesus. He comes to you and makes a commitment of hope, saying, behold, I am with you always to the end of the ages. Well, you're asking of something when you place your hope in it. You're asking it to give you purpose and direction. You're asking it to give you a reason to continue. You're asking it to help you get through difficulty and disappointment. You're asking it to free you from envy and anxiety. You're asking it to give you joy in the morning and rest at night. Now, that's a lot of asking. The fact confronts you with this reality that if your hope disappoints you, you got the wrong hope. Romans chapter 5 says, therefore, since we have been justified through faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ, through whom we have gained access by faith into this grace in which we now stand. Not sit, not lay down. Stand. All right? I'm standing. If an alarm goes off in this building, who do you think can move first? Me. Standing means I'm on the ready. I'm ready to do what God's called me to do. We stand in this grace. We don't lay down and waller in it, all right? We're ready to pass it out freely. And we boast in the hope of the glory of God. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. Hope. None of us are willing to connect our identity to Christ. None of us are willing to let him define us and direct us unless we put our hope in him. Where you put your hope determines the direction that you're going to go. Are you putting your hope in yourself, in the opinions of others, in job or whatever it is, or are you putting your hope in Jesus? Now, some of you say, well, I put my hope in Jesus 25 years ago. Great. That's awesome. It's a minute by minute. I'm real good at forgetting. It's minute by minute. My hope is in Jesus. And that means that Jesus gets to decide my future. Jesus gets to decide what I'm going to do right now. Jesus gets to decide what I love and what I don't, what I cherish and what I don't. Jesus gets to decide those things. It's great to know who you are. It's wonderful to know what God says about you. But if that's all you're going to do with it, you got a problem. Carrie, I know I'm running on time, but if you will permit me, I have something. We're going to go to the questions, the 4 questions. When we receive information, this is for all you science, any science people, y'all love science. You like to know how the brain works and the body works and how the earth works and all those things. All right, I'm here for you science people. All right, when we receive information, all right, we have to make decisions, right? You watch a new commercial or you receive information at a women's gathering on a Saturday, whatever it is. You have to do something with this information. So question number 1 is awareness. Have I heard? All right. So today, your answer to this question has to be yes. All right. Unless your ears are clogged or your spirit is just like hard as a brick. Today, you have to say yes. However, these series of questions, these 4 questions, get answered with everything that you are faced with, any kind of information. And we are information overloaded, all right? We are one of the first societies to ever be just overloaded with information and sensory craziness, all right? So you need these questions. All right, so question number 1 is, have I heard? All right, so if you said no, I have not heard, then if I stay here where I am without this new information, I will remain uninformed and I will do business as usual. All right, that's where you would be had you not had the information. The question is, how far has that gotten you? I mean, only you can answer that. How far does that get you? All right, but today your answer has to be yes because you have heard. So if your answer is yes, then you move on to the next question. The next question is belief. Is what I have heard real? All right? So you've heard all about your identity in Christ. You've heard about who God is and who you are and how that relates to one another. But here's the deal. If you say, is it real? And you say no, then that means you're going to stay where you are in the denier and skeptic category. I have knowledge now, but I'm not going to acknowledge it. This leads to fighting and suppressing. Okay? However, if I say yes, I have the information and I'm believing it's real, all right? I'm going to move on to value. Does this new information that I'm now believing is accurate? Does it matter? Does it matter? No. If you say no, it does not matter. It doesn't matter. All this information was useless to me. I do not find that it matters. I'm going to keep doing life exactly how I was doing it when I walked in here this morning. It does not matter. Then you are labeled as optimistically occupied. Don't you love that? Optimistically occupied. It means that you think that it doesn't matter, and so, it was great information to have, and yeah, it's probably true, but it's not that big of a deal, really. We're doing good. And so you will begin to delegate and reroute as you don't think that this information can actually change anything. So we begin to delegate out. Yes, this is what God says about me. That's great and wonderful, but it doesn't really affect my life. And so I'm going to delegate things like that out. I'm actually not going to study that myself. I'll let Pastor study that, and he can just regurgitate it to me at some point. I'll let my small group leaders, they can study it, and they can just tell me. I'll just feed on it. I won't make new songs. I'll just listen to the songs other people have created. It's fine. Passive is what that is. Passive. However, if you answer, does it matter, with the word yes, congratulations, you get to move to square 4. You will move to the 4th question, which is strategies. What will I do with it? That's a great question. P.S. You're gonna deal with that question here shortly in your discussions. What will I do with that? Can I do anything with it? The information that I received today, is there anything I can actually do with this information? If I say no, then maybe what I'll do is I'll protest and I'll pledge for things to be different. I'll talk to people about how this is so frustrating and I'm just not doing well and I know God loves me, but I just don't know what to do with that information, and I know God forgave me, but I just don't know. I just can't understand, and you just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk to death about it, but you never do anything with it, okay? Because there's just nothing you can do with it. It's just information. Great. I just wasted a few hours on my Saturday with just useless information. But if you say yes, then that means you're poising yourself on the edge of the cliff to jump off and do life in a way you've never done it before. Safety nets are off. Parachute does not exist. It's just you, butt naked, on the edge of the cliff. All right? There's no channel for you to hold on to, nothing for you to click a little rope onto. You don't even have spiky shoes on, all right? It's just you on the edge of the cliff. Because God says, I know what you're covering up, not just with your clothes. All right? I know what you're covering up. And you know what? I love you so much. I love you. Take off the cover up. Take it all off. Jump with me. You see, we think we're standing here on the edge of the cliff with all this information about who am I and what does it matter and what does God say about me and what does God say about himself. And we think, no, I'm standing here, I'm on the edge of the cliff, I'm buck naked, and there's nothing else I can do. What am I going to do? I'm just going to jump. I'm going to do life different. I'm going to jump by myself. What if it all goes wrong? What if every fear, every worry, every anxiety I've ever had in my whole life comes true? I think I'm just going to walk back here. I'm going to sit down over here. I need a few minutes on the sunny rock where it's warm. I need to sit down over here. This is comfortable. I can't do that. I can't do that. But you know, he doesn't take us to the edge of the cliff and say, jump. He says, I got you. You say, oh, he's holding my hand. No, he ain't holding your hand. No, ma'am. Mm-mm. No, you see, like a good daddy, he grabs you by the shoulder. He turns you around. You wrap your arms around his neck. And he wraps his arms around you. And he says, I got you. I got you. Everything you've ever worried about, baby girl, it ain't going to come true. Everything you've ever dreamed up and thought, oh, dear God, if that ever happens, he says, I got you. I'm the king of the universe. I am the ancient before days ever occurred. I am the end. I got you. There's nowhere you can't go that Emmanuel is not already there. You see, his name is Emmanuel. God is with us. Not God is coming behind us, all right? God is with us. He's not with us, all right? He's with us. I used to cling to my daddy like that. I don't have a daddy, by the way. I have a daddy. Just heads up on that. It's weird. I know y'all don't understand that, but that's all right. I have a daddy. If you ever watch this on YouTube, Daddy, I love you. He's my sweet daddy. I did that as a little girl. I would wrap my arms around his neck. I would loop my legs and squeeze for all I was worth. I was not letting go. I was not letting go of that man. But when I got tired and life wearied me and I couldn't hold on any longer and I relaxed and I said, I can't hold on any longer, he said, you don't have to. You never had to. Because his big old arms had me the whole time. God's big old arms have you the whole time. The whole time. Yes, it's going to cost you everything. Yes. Following Jesus, truly following Jesus, is going to cost you everything. But let me tell you, it is worth every single bit. It's worth it. Around this room, you've got sisters. Look around this room. Seriously, look around the room. These are your sisters. These are the daughters of God. You're not walking alone. Anytime you hear that, you know it's a lie outright. You're not walking alone. Don't worry, you'll see me again, but you've cried enough. So I'll come back later. See, I told you the butterfly just whoops right over to another flower. I will come back in a little while, but right now we're going to take a break and let you get up, go to the bathroom, hug your sisters. We've got some activities and all kinds of things. So we've got the 15-minute break here. So you get to hop up, move on for 15 minutes, and then when you hear the chime, we'll come back. Please, there's food and things in there, so please feel free to jump with that.